Welcome to another edition of Retro Championship Wrestling. Big Polly coming to you this Tuesday afternoon. Just past 3 o'clock. We'll go ahead and speed through our matches in the Western Circuit. And our first match is already in the ring. And with the simple rating system now that I have been working on the past couple of weeks now finished, I will just be going by the wrestlers' records and their winning streak. And in our opening bout, we have a couple of men who have traveled in. Oh, I'm going to have to redo it because I accidentally went to put new wrestlers in when I already had wrestlers in the ring. So this is a 30-minute time limit bout. And it'll be the junior heavyweight Blue Demon taking on Burt Azarati. 30-minute time limit. I was going to set the strong style rules for Japan, but we're kind of pot committed right now, and I don't want to reset the match again. Blue Demon is on a 2-match win streak. Burt Azarati has lost 4 in a row and has not won in 7 bouts. The Islington Hercules, a UK star, wanted to get a match with Lou Thez in the early 50s, but couldn't get one. Blue Demon could be a contender for the junior heavyweight title, and we have that as our main event. Talk about a couple of pros. Danny Hodge facing Verne Gagne for the junior heavyweight world title. Gagne was the first junior heavyweight world champion. We're about 8 minutes into this. Azarati leading. It's one of the shooters that British wrestling had. Didn't mind hurting people. So we just double check the OBS. So I'm recording this. Flying Tope. Flying Tope by Blue Demon does not get it done. And Azarati is cut. Chair shot to the head has opened him up. Blue Demon was a legendary junior heavyweight in Mexico, was featured in movies. As this bout heads to its end game, past the 20-minute mark, 10 to go. Headbutt misses by Azarati. Legal throw. La Noria misses. Boston Crab by Azarati does not score. Azarati was leading in the opening 10 minutes, but now it's all Blue Demon. He's got a stamina edge. Burt's sucking wind a little bit, but he could get a draw out of this. Let's see. Foreign object used by Burt Azarati does not get it done, and we have ourselves a time limit draw. Draw 30 minutes. 3.5 stars. On pin attempts, it was the Blue Demon. So instead of the ordinal system that I had been using, I will just enter all the data from this bout into the simple rating system later and get new results. So Azarati survives. So we just move on to our next bout. We don't have to do any totaling or anything. Now I will set the strong style. Unless we have two junior heavyweights in action against each other, that's what we will do. Some interesting international bouts. Minnesota Wrecking Crew, who were the former Northern Tag Champs and the former World Tag Team Champions. Back in the early days of RCW, you could hold those belts simultaneously. They will battle the longtime Western Tag Champs, Bigelow and Big Van Vader, in about. So we will set this up for you. Ole and Gene 1, 4, and 3. Having lost 1 and not having won in since their first bout. So they've gone 7 without a win. Bigelow and Vader are 4 and 7, having lost twice in a row to the Funk Brothers. The last time it cost them their Western Tag Team Championships. So Wrecking Crew is going to have to work around these big guys. 30-minute time limit, and off we go with bout number 2. Flying knee armbar. That was a move that the Minnesota Wrecking Crew would use. One guy would have one of his men in an armbar, and then the other guy would tag in by landing a knee right on the arm. And we have a cut. On, let's see here, Gene Anderson. So this is a wild and woolly battle. Two heel teams, but they're fighting for pecking order. An attempt on Bigelow Invader does not work. Now it's dead even as we head to the 10-minute mark. The Wrecking Crew slightly ahead. Trying to get a win here for the change, and if they get a win, that will help them. Ring collapses. We had a ring collapse. So we have to declare this one a draw at 14:52, and they will work on the ring. Now, because it was not a time limit draw, I'm going to rule it that this was a no contest, and each man will get a point put into the simple rating system. Lucky break for both teams, who were well on their way to killing each other. So we'll move on to our third bout. And in the late 80s, early 90s of WCW, this would have been quite a bout. Barry Windham, who, in my opinion, the heel turn he did in 1988, the spring of 88, against Lex Luger, one of the best heel turns I have ever seen. because they hinted at it in early '88. Oh, Four Horsemen Flair was like, oh, we want you to be a horseman, Barry Windham. And they just didn't talk about it for a while. And then when Windham and Luger won the tag straps, the NWA, was it the NWA still? I think it was still the NWA title still then. Tag titles. Just let's see here. Okay. So I use Wyndham's 84 card, and I use them as a tweener. This will be a 30-minute time limit bout. So Steamboat coming in 2, 1, and 4 with 2 straight draws. And Wyndham is 0 and 1. 0 and 1. This is only his second bout. 1 draw. So we really see blood in our third straight bout. That's kind of what I'm wondering here. 30-minute time limit, blood rule waived. By the way, the asterisk by Blue Demon, I reinstituted my little 16 rolls of a 100-sided dice. If anybody rolls 100, they were out. And if absent that, whoever had the highest roll was injured or sick. And I forgot to apply the illness, which I sometimes do. But the match will stand. They went to a draw. They might have gone to a draw anyway. So Steamboat slightly ahead. Of course, he won probably the best match on WrestleMania 3 when he beat Macho Man Randy Savage for the Intercontinental Championship. And a lot of people said that he was punished dropping the strap to the Honky Tonk Man shortly thereafter for putting on such a good bout. But this is about even Steven halfway through the bout. Wyndham is keeping pace. Pin attempts are 4-3 Barry. Flying body press by Steamboat, and he got him. That's it, folks. 1804. Steamboat, your winner. Touring Japan, as a lot of the wrestlers we're seeing today are. But with a simple rating system, you'll eventually see everything return to normal. So a good effort out of Steamboat. He is now 3 and 1, 3-1 and 4, and his last loss was to Harley Race, and that was only by countout. So maybe he becomes a contender for some of the championships in RCW. And with that, on to bout number 4. As we're moving right along here, it's Antonio Inoki and Bruiser Brody. Brody was the Western champ for many a week, but he won the World Brass Knuckle tag titles along with Stan Hansen, and when he did that, he dropped the Western Championship, saying, well, we're going to do this now, and I can win this back anytime I want to. Inoki and Brody have had some scraps, at least one that I can think of. But Let's see here. Well, maybe they had one in the early days of RCW because I'm not seeing it here, but this will be a good one. Noki is, of course, the former two-time World Junior Heavyweight champion, beating Verne Gagne and then Luthez for those titles. Comes in with a 2-game win streak, 9-5-1. Brody just beat Verne Gagne by count out. We'll be seeing later tonight. And of course, you got to think a guy like Brody will be a contender for the Brass Knucks title that Bruno Sammartino currently holds. He won that on our South card. Oh, and Brody going at Inoki right from the bell. Inoki fired up from the crowd. He's in positive damage, which you rarely see in wrestling's finest. Ricky Dozan and Emil Zaha from the Indo-Pakistani continent will be our next bout. And Emil, on the last West card, beat Hulk Hogan, so he is highly sought after right now. We have the Funk Brothers against Valentine and Flair. Greg Valentine, Ric Flair in our tag title bout. Jack Briscoe against the Destroyer for the Western title. Knee drop off the top rope. That's usually all she wrote for any competitor, but Brody kicked out of it. Brody's still fighting at the 11-minute mark, even though he's way behind on damage. And on pin attempts, backdrop suplex does not go. Double thrust to the throat by Brody. That does not get a pin. Brody in a pinning predicament again. Leg drop to the head of Brody. Souffle. What great strength by Inoki getting Brody up. Brody taking a lot of punishment, and he is getting winded. As we head into the second half of this bout, small package, no. He's racking up pin attempts. He's got 9. DQ is called, just like that. Noki's going to win by a disqualification, of course, at 19 minutes and 9 seconds. Ref catches Brody with a foreign object and says, "You're gone." So Inoki's going to move up. And he could wind up, well, we'll see what happens in our main event, but he might be getting some title consideration here very soon. Okay, our last non-title bout of the evening, Ricky Dozan is going to take on Emil Zaha. Zaha was a legendary big man grappler in the Indian subcontinent. And of course, Zaha just beat Hulk Hogan as we were mentioning, but he lost by countout in the Indies afterwards to Ivan Putski. So Ricky Dozan is going to come in at 2 wins, 2 losses, and a draw, but he has a 2-match win streak. Emil Zaha, 2-1-1, but has lost one. I believe he was also a movie star. They called him King Kong. As he towers over Ricky Dozan here, Japanese legend. So off we go with this one. Oh, and this doesn't even start, basically. Pre-match attack by Zaha. Emil Zaha barely makes it back in the ring and is rewarded the bout by countout. So Zaha survives the skirmish. So he is back on the winning track. Officially 7 seconds. So Ricky Dozan was attacked before the bell. Ricky does not hear the 10 count being administered. So Zaha could challenge Jack Briscoe next week for the Western title. But if the Destroyer wins, it'll be Inoki who gets the Western title shot. I'm going to take a break, and we'll be back with our title matches right after this. So this promises to be another wild and woolly one. The Funk Brothers at 3-1, 3 straight wins against Greg Valentine, Ric Flair, 3-3-4 with 1 loss. They just lost the World Brass Knucks Tag Team title to Bruiser Brody Stan Hansen. They are also the former Eastern Tag Team title holders. So this is a battle of champions, and this might come in when we do the Vogel Cup for the tag teams at the end of the year. So this will be a good bout, 1 fall, 60-minute time limit. Of course, the Funks are widely loved in the West Circuit. They are actually kind of tweeners here, which is why you're seeing them against Valentine and Flair. It's about even, but a 60-minute time limit. 2 bouts left after this one. Thought I would get this done. I was planning to get this done later in the afternoon, but I know box scores from the basement is usually telecasted around 8 o'clock Eastern time, so I thought I would do this and give these guys plenty of room to breathe. Back when I first started doing this, as these two trade moves and holds and pin attempts, you could almost go from like one sports gamers vlog to the other, to the other, to the other. It's not so much that way anymore, but you never know. The way the world is going, maybe we get back to that one day. Oh, and we have blood. We have just a little bit of blood. And it's Terry. Terry is cut. By a challenger's at 16:36. I think Valentine and Flair would be the first team to win titles in 2 circuits, should they win here. They have won the Brass Knucks title and they won the Eastern title, but they haven't won a title from another circuit. So a little bit of a nick on Terry Funk, not too bad. Backslide does not get the pin. It's about even. We're 24 minutes into the bout. Of course, Flair and Terry Funk had some great battles in WCW in the late 80s. Great I Quit match. Oh, spinning toe hold. Spinning toe hold, and that's not going to get it done. Had that I Quit match in late 89 in Troy, New York that everybody remembers. And now we have blood on Flair. Of course we have blood on Flair. And that's a more significant cut, but not a real bad one. Halfway through the bout, it is the Funk Brothers. Pin attempt on the challengers. Just thinking ahead. As to, well, it was a drawn bout. So if the Funks win, they probably get Bigelow and Vader again. If Valentine and Flair win, they could get, they would also have Bigelow and Flair again, because they had the better record coming in. So I would give them the nod. And now another cut on to Terry. At 36:40. So the challengers coming back. And the Funk Brothers have won. Flair deliberately getting counted out. So it's a count out win to retain at 38-35. 4-star bout. And it was 421.25 on the Funks. 654.16 on the challengers, and it went 4 stars. So in this instance, it was Ric Flair who basically said, "I quit to Terry Funk." A little reversal of history. So yes, the Funks will go to 4-1, and we go on to our Western title bout. The Destroyer won the most prominent bout last week. So he gets the nod despite the fact his track record is not all that great. sensational, intelligent destroyer battling Jack Briscoe. Yeah, he's 2-4-4. Briscoe is 3-2-1, and the Briscoes were off this week from tag action due to an injury to them. Briscoe won a battle royal last week to become the Western Tag Team, the Western champ. He had been struggling in the West, lost to Bruiser Brody and lost to Stan Hansen before this bout. Let me just write down before we start. Our Western Tag title will be the Funks against BBB and Vader. They get their rematch. Week 15. And on we go with this bout. The Destroyer has had time limit draws with the British star Billy Riley and Tiger Mask coming into this bout. Another 60-minute time limit. And don't forget our main event coming up next. Verne Gagne trying to win back the junior heavyweight title a second time against Danny Hodge. Flying dropkick by the Destroyer caught Briscoe off guard, but he had plenty gas in the tank to get out of two. Body press by Briscoe does not get it done. Briscoe, of course, was one of those NWA world champions, but what do we have here? Double DQ. Both men decided to get their brawl on. Double DQ 14, so Briscoe retains. And he'll meet Emil Zaha next week, as Zaha won the match closest to the title bout, so we'll give it to Zaha. So on to our main event, which is going to be Danny Hodge against Verne Gagne for the junior heavyweight title. Obviously, this will be a Japanese-style bout. Hodge had just defeated Antonio Inoki last week to win the junior heavyweight strap. Well, Gagne, as we mentioned, was the world champion beforehand. and could become champion again. Antonio Inoki is the only other man to have won the junior heavyweight title twice. Hodge has won. This is his 10th bout. He has gone 8 without losing. He is 5-1-3 with 1 win in a row. And this is the 19th bout for Gagne, and don't look if you're religious, but he's 6-6-6. So on we go. 1fall 60 for the junior heavyweight title of the world. That used to be a very big title in North American wrestling. Who the junior heavyweight championship was. It was a big deal in the 60s when Hiro Matsuda defeated Danny Hodge at the Tampa Sportatorium, where they recorded the championship wrestling from Florida matches. There was a title change, and it happened right on Florida television. And we have a cut. We had a cut somewhere. And it's Gagne who had a cut. Didn't catch when it occurred. I sped right by it talking to you guys. Side cradle countered by Hodge. Gagne threw Hodge outside the ring, and he's blockading the ring. He's not letting them in. But eventually he does get back in. Gagne, a little bit of a temper problem he's exhibiting in this bout out west. Oklahoma roll by Danny Hodge does not get it done. And with Gagne being the American in Japan, he would have to play the role of the bad guy. Oklahoma roll again, trying to get that Oklahoma roll. Have no problem getting them in a roll, but Gagne is finding a way, slightly easy to kick out. We are at the 20-minute mark. It's a dead even bout. Gagne slightly ahead, but Hodge ahead on Penetram 6-5. It's been a good bout so far. Could be a 5-star bout. And now Hodge introduces Verne to the ringside area at the 23-minute mark. Inside cradle. No. Nearly had a new champ there. Small package. No, you're not going to get Hodge that quickly. Danny Hodge was the beneficiary of, we got a guy named Sleeper here. Hold that thought. Nope. Of Antonio Inoki getting pummeled by Shawn Michaels in that bout. Gagne sleeper. Does not work. Gagne slightly ahead as we are now heading home. Oklahoma roll. Oh, he almost got him that time. That same kick out of 16 that we have now seen 3 times, but this time 15 would have gotten the pin on Hodge, and Gagne is busted open a little more. But this is a very, very close bout. And Hodge fatiguing, Gagne fatiguing a little less. As we said, if Gagne wins the title tonight by a pinfall or submission, he would be the junior heavyweight title holder a second time. Hodge slightly ahead, going for that Oklahoma roll again, but this time Gagne kicks at it too. Pile driver by Gagne. He's doing everything he can to win the title. And who could blame him? Getting close to the last 10 minutes. Hodge a little farther ahead now. 10 minutes to go. Starting to look like this will be a 60-minute draw. Series of forearms by Hodge on the Gagne. Gagne has to win the title in these next 6.5 minutes. Although I think a draw would help out his chances for a return bout greatly. Hodge has been talked about for facing Nick Bockwinkel for the heavyweight title. Spinning toe hold with 2 minutes, 44 seconds to go. No. Cobra clutch is not going to get it done. Down to the last minute. Vertical suplex. No. We're down seconds to go to body slam. Well, the time limit expired. We're not going to count it. This is a time limit draw. 60 minutes. 4.5 stars. Hodge will keep the title at 60 minutes. Gagne was a little off his game tonight. "23 pin attempts. So there you go, folks. On to our indie card next. That will probably be coming out, I would say, Thursday or so, Lord willing, and if my creek does not rise. This has been Big Polly coming to you. Well, it would help if I opened up this, right? Big Polly coming to you, wishing you well. Godspeed, God bless. We'll do it all again soon. Bye-bye for now, everybody.